So how's 2025 going for you so far?
It's going to be a fabulous year.
It is going to be a fabulous
year. I actually got another planner.
Yes, you did. You know why I know that? Because I went through the planner and put every single important date in there.
You did.
You have to remember to keep it open on your desk.
I did have it open. I did. And I actually,
right beside
somebody asked me to go to lunch tomorrow, and I said, let me check my calendar. Oh! Shut the front door. I know, right? I never say that. I just always say yes. But I was available anyway. So that, and you know what I'm the most proud of, though? And I really am proud of myself. I committed, and I actually started the day after Christmas. I want to lose 20 pounds. That's beside the point. But I was like, I'm walking 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 steps. I'm doing it. And I've done it.
I know. I see you jump up and take off during the day.
And go walk.
I've
hit 17,000 as my highest count one day.
As soon as I find out what's going on with my crazy hip, then I'm going to join you with that because I haven't even been able to go for my walks in the mornings.
You know what I'm thinking I need to add to my New Year's resolutions? What? Maybe voice lessons. Because I think we might have a future in karaoke.
We don't need good voices to do karaoke.
I know, but it might sound better. People might think it was better if I sang.
After karaoke the other night, I have come up with all kinds of crazy songs that we need to karaoke. Like old
I know you did
songs,
because when you brought up Shake the Sugar Tree, I downloaded it by Pam Tillis. I hadn't heard that. I mean, probably 20
Kendra
years.
was talking about it the other night.
I love that song.
That made me think about it. And I'm like, let me pull that one up.
I want to sing Run the World by Who Runs the World by Beyonce.
We're going to be karaoke.
And Dark Horse by Katy Perry.
Fools. Yeah, we're going to be. I like the old I mean, I like old stuff, but I wasn't into the like 2000s pop kind of music, so I like the older stuff.
Oh, we could even go back and do like some Paula Abdul. Or we could do Milli Vanilli. They really were lip syncing.
We did do Milli Vanilli the other night. You missed it.
I missed it. Yeah. I thought we did a very good rendition of Shallow, though.
We did.
And my Celine Dion performance the last time I was there was excellent, too.
Well, we were scaring Kendra's dog, so I finally had to sit down in the chair and...
Of course we were scaring Kendra's
cuddle
dogs.
with the dogs.
The dolphins on the coast probably heard us, but...
Yeah.
It was fun, though. I had a good time. I had a really good time. It was lovely.
Yeah, I think 2025 is going to be a fabulous year. I usually don't do resolutions. I try not to because then I don't want to feel like a failure if I didn't hold up to my resolution.
Only a failure if you think you are.
Yeah, and I never think I'm a failure.
There you go. So we're good.
I'm good. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to roll with it. I'm just going to be fabulous in 2025.
Well, I'm always fabulous.
I'm going to continue with fabulousness in 2025.
I'm going to be even more fabulous.
Yes, we're gonna manifest fabulousness all around.
Yes, we are.
Speaking of new in 2025, we are talking to our new mayor for the city of Leesburg, Alan Reisman, today.
Yes, we are.
So he will be with us in just a few moments. So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. I like to talk to him about the helicopters too.
Thank you for joining us on the Style Podcast today. We're excited to have Mayor of Leesburg, Alan Reisman, with us. But Alan's so much more than the mayor. I've known Alan for a few years now, and I met you originally, I think, way back when we were talking about some of the Firehawk stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to start off with that.
He ma'amed you.
He ma'amed me. We're going to start off with that because even though I think it's fantastic that you're the mayor now, you're newly elected mayor, and your commissioner, it's still such a cool thing that you fly helicopters.
So I work for Firehawk Helicopters. Mm-hmm. I've been there since the day I turned 18. Always had a passion for aviation. There's a long backstory to that. I had underdeveloped lungs growing up, so my grandpa always got me balloons to blow up, got me things to fly, got me things interested in that, and that kind of got me in floating balloons, got me interested in aviation, and then I got interested in helicopters. The company I work for, I've known the family for quite some time, and he gave me my first helicopter lesson when I was about 8 or 9 years old. Let me take it out and hover it, and I thought, well, this will be a piece of cake, and I was mistaken greatly. I came back, I was drenched in sweat, and but I was hooked ever since, so...
Do you fly planes too, or just helicopters?
So we do have a couple airplanes as well, yeah. So it's easier to fly an airplane over a helicopter.
It's funny. I don't think people realize that, but I know that I worked in TV news right out of college, and the helicopters, just talking with the people in the news business. And my mom, actually, she's a registered nurse. And for a while, she flew with Arnold Palmer on when they had anything that was related to labor and delivery and things like that. It was a big deal. Yeah. And it's kind of dangerous. It's not, something that's just like, hey, we're going to go do this. And, it's serious.
Yeah. As my boss says, it's a lot more spinning parts trying to take you out of the air.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Because when the rotation stops, it's not like it's going to glide down.
Well, there is some procedures for that called an auto rotation, but we'd probably have, if you're a helicopter person, you'd probably rather lose an engine in a helicopter than you would an airplane, because you can do an auto rotation anywhere and land anywhere. An airplane, you kind of need a runway to land per se. So
cool. Do you fly planes as well yourself?
I don't.
Or
no.
you just fly that?
We have helicopters.
Say that like that's a minor thing.
We
just fly helicopters.
The company operates UH-60 Blackhawks, and we do majority wildland firefighting, disaster relief. We do some government jobs. Fish and wildlife. We do power line work, all around the country, and we're also down in Australia as well.
Oh, wow.
And we have a facility in our western facility is in Boise, Idaho.
So speaking of disasters and being called out, have you been called to California yet?
We've gotten some preliminary calls to that. California's a little weird. They usually use all their resources they have in the state first, and then it usually has to get escalated higher up the political chain before they start reaching out, because then they start having to pay that money. They have their own Forest Service, and it's a lot of politics when it comes to that.
Shocking.
So when the celebrities and all the wealthy individuals start calling their politicians, usually things start to happen. But,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
What's the most interesting story you've got for us that you can tell us about your helicopters?
Well, we've transported and chartered some pretty high-level individuals that you're seeing in the news right now around. We've gone down to the Hotel Atlantis in the Bahamas, and they've called us to, when the manta rays get too big and their wings start touching the sides, we go in and lift them out and put them back in the ocean, and then they, I don't want to say trap or capture, but they get another one and bring it back in, because they never stop growing. But then they track that one and
that's cool.
take blood samples and make sure it's doing well. But power line work, we set power poles for PG&E out California, Quanta, and we've done work for Duke.
Any search and rescue for people?
We don't do too much search and rescue. Like when the shuttle blew up quite a few years ago, we did some. We picked up parts because the parts landed on top of trees, so we could hover up next to the tree.
Oh, wow.
Or grab things like that off. So,
oh, wow, that is interesting.
That's pretty cool.
We really will take any job that'll pay the bills. Helicopters and aviation is not cheap.
Yeah.
Everyone sees aviation and thinks money, 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 but it takes a lot of money to keep the aircraft.
It takes a lot of money to do a lot of stuff, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, to keep them maintained. And I know I came out with my leadership Lake County class 100 years ago. And got to come out and see all the helicopters then. But you mentioned that there's going to be a open house sort of?
Kind of an open house, yep.
Okay, tell us about
it's
that.
the second time we've done it. We did a kind of a test model during the summer, and it was a little hot. So we're like, hey, let's do it and move it to a cooler month. So we're doing it February 8th. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is a completely free event. We'll have 10 food trucks there. That was the only thing that you'll have to pay for. But we're all the food trucks will be positioned in our parking lot. We're going to open up one of our hangars and put all the seating inside. And then the entire ramp will be full of airplanes and helicopters, including ours, that you can look around, get in, crawl around, see, take pictures, ask questions. I think it'll be a really cool time. And it's kind of how I got started in inspiring the next generation to get involved in that and go, whoa, this is something I want to do. And that's what we're really big about. We love giving that, we call it the 25-cent tour. So when church groups, school groups, different organizations reach out and go, hey, can we come for a tour? We're like, yes, because we want to inspire that next generation.
So Shayna won't be able to get a ride that
day. No, I already asked off camera, and I was told. But you know what? One day,
maybe one
take
day.
me for a ride in a helicopter.
In a helicopter.
You can go up in an airplane at Sun Air. They could do an introductory flight.
I've been in an airplane. I want to go in a helicopter.
I hear you.
I have to be interested.
Yeah, we'll work on that. On changing subjects a little bit, we want to get into your being a commissioner in Leesburg. So with you being busy with helicopters, what made you decide to take on that task? Because running for office is not easy.
It is definitely not easy, and it's it is a lot of work. Prior to my first run, I lost my first run against Commissioner Burry. Great guy, very happy that he got in. And then I ran again, and that's when I won. I had two opponents. One of them I want to say knocked out pretty quick, but we'll leave it at that. And then I won that race. But prior to that, I had faithfully gone to the commission meetings for 12 to 13 years. Prior to that, I maybe one hand I can count I missed. Old commissioners. At the end of the meeting, you can bring up whatever you want, and you can do a roll call. And they were doing things at the airport that we didn't like. And I told our company that I would never miss a meeting there on out, and I never really did. And so if something came up, I could be there to voice my opinions on it. And that's kind of what got me hooked on politics.
That's good. Squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
Consistency, too, because if you're there all the time, you know what's going on, you know the issues.
Yeah, it's funny
And I
because
don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
That you have to be present. You can complain all you want, but if you're not willing to be present for the meetings and understand what's going on in your community, you can't really complain about it.
And everybody has a role. Everybody can do something. It was funny because for the years that I was attending, staff thought I was like this secret staff member because they're like, why is this person always at the meetings?
Undercover boss.
Why is this person always here? They're like, we thought you were a staff member, but we didn't know what staff member you were.
That's awesome.
Spying on everybody. That's funny.
So, Mayor, now, explain to us how that works. I know you guys, you rotate, right? But your fellow commissioners decide.
So the mayor is determined by your fellow commissioners. Okay. Well, first off, you get your commissioner is 2 terms. You can run 2 terms, 4 years each, and usually you're a mayor at least one time during your 4 years. So something really big about me is. I think as a commissioner or a mayor, it is important for you to be in the public's eye. You need to attend events. You need to have those conversations at Publix. You need to be present in the community. You need to be at the proclamations and the ribbon cuttings. It is important to be because you're the face of the city. And I was really grateful that 2 of my fellow commissioners nominated me. I was super excited, and I took that role, and I'm running with it. So.
We're proud of you.
Thank you.
And I agree with you about that. I think that's another thing. I think it's also really important. One thing I've learned, it's important to understand your role as a commissioner and the way things work. There's a lot that goes into it. There's legalities. There's you don't just show up and vote. There's a lot. And then you have to listen to the people coming in. If they don't like a project that's going in, and I can imagine it could be kind of difficult sometimes. I know there's a lot of big projects going on too. You've got the Susan Street renovation, right?
We have the marina coming up. We're building a new marina with 42 additional slips. And
actually, there's some work going to be done at the airport too, right?
Yep, we're in the process of building the groundwork. Should be done in May, and hopefully we'll go vertical after that. That's going to be a $10 million project. And then we're in negotiations with some other individuals to start building out the property. If you're looking at Cracker Barrel from 441 to the right.
Oh, okay.
And then we sold the property across from Cracker Barrel. It's roughly about 10 acres to Blue Rock. We have them on the agenda coming up for some things. But
What's Blue Rock?
Blue Rock is a development company.
Okay. And what do you have any idea what they're going to put there?
They've kind of gave us some renderings. They're looking at some restaurants, maybe some other things, stores,
commercial,
retail, things like that. Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're talking with Alan Reisman, but we'd like to thank our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care. We'll be back in just a moment.
Get all the Social Security disability benefits you deserve with disability consultants Chris Bell and Jeff Bell. Our experienced Florida certified ADR handle claims on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay unless we recover money for you. We have established a strong reputation as a firm that cares and provides the best care to its clients. Call us today or visit cbell.com.
Welcome back. We're talking with Alan Reisman, Mayor of Leesburg. Alan, I know you touched on a few things before the break, but let's get back to some of these great projects that are going on in Leesburg. Susan Street Complex. Let's start with that one.
Susan Street Complex is an amazing complex, and I'm so excited for that. It's going to be a game changer for our kids that play Pop Warner, and then all the economic development that we're going to bring in through sports tourism at that facility is going to be huge for our community.
You're moving soccer and things like that. So my son he's a senior. He won't get to benefit. I'm sad about that because he's a senior at First Academy. He's on the soccer team, and they usually play at Sleepy Hollow, which is fine. But I could just imagine seeing the renderings of that, how awesome it would be to watch him play there.
I believe it's 6 fields off the top of my head. One of those, and they're all rugby sides fields. So they're really big fields, so you can play any other sport on those fields. But we wanted to capture rugby because we have some things in the works that we can't talk about, but we have some things in the works.
Very cool.
I think I'd like rugby. I think I would enjoy it.
I think we should have like a hometown team.
I totally think we should.
Softball, let's just go with
I'm
rugby.
serious. Game on. I mean,
That's fun.
What about the marina? I love
the lakes are big for me because
Lakes
I'm
are
always on
beautiful
the
for me.
water. So I want to know what's happening with that.
Yeah, so we're building, obviously the current marina, the building is like a modular mobile home type building.
Right.
And we holes in the floor. So we kind of condemned part of the building so we're rebuilding a brand new structure. It'll have the same facade as the Venetian Center, which is beautiful.
Oh,
It is.
And we will have 42 additional boat slips in the water. We have a huge waiting list, and that is something that we calculated it, and within like 6 years, we'll recoup our investment. And
I love it because, like we were talking on break, I was born and raised here, like you, and I've watched, and you were too. But like my grandfather, Jack Wilson, used to have a barbershop right downtown where TD Nails is now. He was mayor for a time, and so I can vividly remember like Einstein's grocery store being next door, and as a kid going and visiting him after school and going next door. And for years, like we talked about, I do feel like Leesburg was kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
We watched other cities, from Claremont to Barry's Mount Dora, and but it's been so nice to watch. Like our office is downtown, right off Market, and one of the perks, my friend Mike Peterson was the realtor that helped me find it, and he said, "I really think you guys will love it downtown." And I have to say, even though we've outgrown the space technically, I don't want to leave. I love being able to walk to anything and everything. And it's beautiful.
We want to keep watching it grow. And take advantage of the beautiful waterfronts that we have. And
Go have a glass of wine, like you said.
I'm downtown at minimum twice a day. I am down here every morning with a couple of my friends. We meet at a couple of the different establishments on different days and have coffee and breakfast and just kind of chit chat. And then down at evenings after work, I'm down here meeting somebody or having dinner or just enjoying the downtown. It's so beautiful. And the potential that's down here, and we've really taken a turn the last, I think what you said, we talked off air about the last 10 years, the city of Leesburg has really taken that turn, which we needed. And, people want all these nice things, but things have to happen in order to get those nice things. The demographic, the income level has to raise, things like that. That's one of the reasons we got Chick-fil-A.
Is there anything interesting and exciting that's coming that we haven't heard of yet that you're allowed to talk about?
Not anything that I haven't heard. We can't talk about. I know we're getting some fast food chains out by the mall. There are a couple entities looking in South Leesburg at a few things. We can't talk about that. We have an NDA with that. But,
that area is
this has nothing to do with you or the city of Leesburg. But if for any reason the state or the county or somebody hears this podcast, which they probably do because we're pretty impressive,
don't want to listen.
You're pretty
to Alex.
famous.
Something needs to be done about 27 south, going south.
The traffic.
And I get that there is water, and I get that might. But the traffic
Everything
from
bottlenecks with the
the high school south at any given time is unbelievable.
It is bad, yeah.
Is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's kudos. There's people moving to the community, so we're just filling up, and people love Florida, and I get it.
Yeah. So right now, I think the city of Leesburg's approving like 30 COs a month. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not a huge amount of growth. But you got to think 27 and 4041 are major corridors to everywhere else.
We are thoroughfares.
And we are a thoroughfare. So you have everywhere else building and, I live over here. Well, I need to work. I have to work here and vice versa. So that's what's clogging up the roads, I think, a lot. And then obviously, the villages, everyone says Leesburg's growing really quick. The villages did make our population grow, but a lot of those villagers stay self-contained to the villages, but not all of them. A lot of them come downtown.
Yeah,
They do.
A lot of them are passing through.
Yeah.
So
My little
that's what
walks
the
that I
traffic
take, because
is.
I'm doing 10,000 steps minimum a day.
There you go.
And I've been doing that through downtown. And today I went actually further, and I actually did see, I don't know if they were necessarily villages, but there was a lot of couples, older couples, and even young couples walking around downtown, going in the shops.
I've noticed more people down here eating lunch.
Yeah, and when I drive by Venetian Gardens, there's so many families and older couples down there walking. It's just so much potential, and we have so much here to offer to our surrounding communities.
You know what else will be cool?
What's that?
I've always said this, and I know people think I'm crazy, but I don't care. A golf cart bridge over Dixie. So like literally it's a golf, so if you could take your golf cart from here and not have to like cross, but like go
She's
over.
scared to cross.
I don't like crossing. That wasn't fun I had
took
fun
a
on the
golf cart ride the other
but
day.
being on the back of a golf cart.
She didn't like going
and
across.
you're going across and then it's like, what if someone doesn't stop? Just saying.
Yeah, well, we did get another golf cart crossing here in the city of Leesburg, 3rd and 27, right there by Insight, and that'll help a lot for the beacon because they go back
where
and
they
forth.
can just go straight across.
And then our city maintenance teams go across on there through
Yeah,
the
I've seen them
mules.
there.
And then that community can also ride their golf cart downtown and all the way to Venetian Gardens too. So
That's what we did the other day.
We
Shayna
did.
just didn't
I'm
like
just
it.
saying that a golf cart bridge would be lovely.
She didn't like the potential of cars coming at her.
Because that's a busy road.
Yeah, it is. But we had fun.
when you're talking bridges in the master plan, we're also working on our trails program here in the city of Leesburg.
Good.
And I'm a huge trail supporter. And I think everyone around the county is a huge supporter of that, connecting all the trails so you can go from point A to point B. We can tag into that village's lifestyle coming all the way over here. And I saw some future renderings, and I think crossing, is it out by the Sleepy Hollow, there will be a pedestrian bridge crossing the highway there.
Okay, well, that's
Bike.
hey, look,
It's a start.
you gotta start somewhere.
That's cool.
That's a
Pedestrian
couple years
one
down the
day,
road.
golf
but-
cart the next.
Yeah.
So I know we have an international airport out where you work. That's what it's called.
Yes.
So when are we
It
ever going to
technically
get our
is.
commercial flights out
We
there?
get that is probably one of the number one questions we get. We did a study quite a few years ago to see if it was feasible, and the FAA came back and said, no, we're too close to Orlando, Sanford, Ocala, things like that. So, but we're really trying to capture that private commercial entities to come into Leesburg. So, and I'm excited about some of the things that we might have in the works. So.
And the lake is right at the end, so
It is.
the runway.
We have a
wouldn't be
seaplane
very-
ramp.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have a seaplane ramp, and then I'll emphasize on the international. Yeah, we have a tower, and we have U.S. Customs. And Gary Morris with the Villages, he was really instrumental in getting both of those. I obviously, the Villages and their family, they fly all over the place for their work, and they wanted to clear customs here so they wouldn't have to land at another airport and take off again. Obviously, that cost a lot of money
Right.
to land and take off, so it was cost effective for him to pay for that. And so we have a partnership with the Villages to keep those things coming here. So another new initiative that we just started and the commission approved is the American Bloom Initiative. It's kind of a beautification, economic development through beautification. So our city manager was instrumental in getting flowers in a lot of our areas, but that's part of it. The landscaping, how things look, beautifying your community through economic development. And then something that our public works director, Cliff Kelsey, told me today is we're only a couple of weeks away from becoming a Tree City USA, which is a huge thing. And
I love that.
Yeah, and one of his goals is to start adding more trees in and around our community at Venetian Gardens, at the different parks and things like that. So I'm really
Maybe we
excited
can
about
not
that.
have, maybe the developers cannot come all down, but that's a different story for a different day. I will tell you that the beautification thing is the biggest deal.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going into a city and it's taken care of and it has, I remember when we put up the wrought iron fencing and the brick or the
bricks.
stones. Yes. And then that where they did the traffic change near McDonald's, the trees and the
sign.
sign and everything.
Palm trees, all that kind
It
of stuff.
makes the biggest difference.
does.
When it's kind of
Coming
like when
in.
you get a present and it's wrapped really nicely,
Mm-hmm.
you're really excited. So when you're coming in somewhere and you're like, oh my gosh, they take care of their community. It's a big deal.
It is. It's the perception.
It is.
Of it's clean, it's nice, and we have a phenomenal team here at the city of Leesburg that maintains our grounds. They do a great job.
They really do.
Yeah, we have a phenomenal team.
Again, I see the flowers every time I do my walk.
After the Susan Street complex is complete, I would like to say, this is my suggestion, my civic organization, Altrusa, I'm allowed to say that, they always participate in the National Night Out. And when it was over at the Susan Street complex before, we had such a huge turnout. I know we had a great turnout this past time. It rained, so that kind of deterred it. I saw you out there. I know you were walking around as well.
Well, it makes sense. People could walk from the
But I love that area, and so I'm going to make a suggestion that you guys can pass along to the
I'm
police
probably
department.
going to foresee with that new facility coming, we're going to want to highlight that as well.
Yeah,
and
that was-
will be, and it was always there for years.
Right.
So I think I foresee it going back.
What
to
are
the
the-
I hope
facility.
so. I hope so.
What are the changes? I know since you're moving a lot to Susan Street, you're no longer going to have your soccer fields and things at Sunnyside, correct? So What are we adding there?
So as our city manager, Al Minner, says, we're going to have all of our rectangle fields at Susan Street and all of our diamond fields
Oh, okay.
at Sleepy
That
Hollow.
makes sense.
So we're going to add, it'll probably be a little ways down the road with all the stuff we have going on, but we're going to add a few more diamond fields there as well. So,
We're going to take another quick break. A quick thank you to Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care for being our sponsors today, but we'll be right back with more from Alan Reisman.
Nobody wants an aging family member who is unable to care for themselves to be home alone. Lake Center Home Care believes the best healing happens when you are most comfortable. The company provides exceptional personal care in the comfort and privacy of your own home. Whether you need skilled nursing, physical therapy, home health aides, or companion services, your loved ones will enjoy peace of mind knowing you're being taken care of and treated with respect and dignity. Lake Center Home Care is locally owned and managed with a team of highly qualified professionals who are passionate about taking care of their neighbors. Call 352-315-0050 or visit golchc.com to learn more about this amazing company.
Welcome back. We're talking to Mayor Alan Reisman today. Thank you again, Alan, for joining us. We've got to talk about growth in Leesburg again. I know there's some touchy points that I have. I don't want to see any more dispensaries or pot stores or mattress stores or car washes. What is happening? Tell us what's going on. What's going on with that?
Like I also said, I have a good friend that at one point, I'll never forget him saying, we have to look at quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's been a misstep in a lot of places in the county. And that's what, and I still don't know how that many car washes. I don't know how they make money when there's that many.
So I actually brought that up to the commission quite a few months ago about maybe put a moratorium on car washes, the Dollar Tree, dollar store type facilities, the hemp or weed dispensary type facilities. I kind of got a little, we're a free city, but I think as a city we can limit those. I'm not saying we don't need to have those. I just don't think we need to have one on every corner.
You have to be pickier. There's a reason Mount Dora is the way Mount Dora is. They were picky.
Like you said, we need to get a little more pickier and go, oh, this is what we want on this corner. This is what we want in this land. So I agree with that.
I get it. You know, growth is it's a touchy subject. I politically tend to lean more right. But the older I get, I also understand there has to be smart growth. And,
right kind of growth.
And every cookie cutter housing development with 5,000 houses on an acre, in all seriousness, like in every tree cut down, I understand they meet the legality, they meet the letter of the law. You don't have a lot of room to move, except I feel like we can say, you know what, density wise.
Explain that a little bit, Alan, so people understand as a commissioner what the responsibilities are.
The majority of the commission feels that the growth needs to be a little controlled. I think there's some legalities that go with that. It's a little frustrating that, maybe one commissioner is anti-growth and the other commissioners were voting yes for development. So, we're pro-growth. But what I don't think people understand is when we're in a quasi-judicial setting like that, we have to follow the letter of the law. And if we don't, the developer just turns around and sues us, taking tax dollar money and our resources. And in the end, we just have to turn around and go, yeah, you can build it. So we have to follow that law, and that's what we have to do. So it's a little frustrating when the vote comes down and, certain commissioners are, no.
Because they don't completely understand it. But
it.
Isn't there a way to say, instead of, let's say somebody comes in and wants a development in a certain area, and they want, 250 homes. But you really start to look at the schools. And I will say, I taught for 10 years, and I always love when everybody comes in and says, the schools are not overcrowded. And I'm like, yeah, they are.
All of them.
They really are. Every even a school before it's done being built typically is almost at capacity or over. But I mean, can you change it and say, instead of 250, we'd like to see larger lots. So maybe we'll let you do 150.
So our comp plan, we just passed. We reviewed and went over everything. It's like a 600-page document or something like that. It's huge. And that covers all of that density, landscaping, all of those kind of things that everyone thinks of. It is all covered in that comp plan. And it kind of made it a little more stricter, and that we had to send it off to the state for review, and they came back, and then we did the final approval, and that is the new letter of our law. So
I like it.
We worked really hard on that. Our staff worked really hard on that.
What are some of the things in that you can
Well,
highlight
it's just
that you're proud of?
how many homes per acre,
Okay.
things like that. And then if a PUD is not moving forward within 4 years, it reverts back to the strictest land use codes.
Planned unit development.
Yep,
Okay.
planned unit development.
What about height requirements if you're allowing any more apartment complexes? And I know in Fruitland Park, that was where they tried to kind of say, hey, we don't want to go, we want it to be maxed out.
I think the only thing that we potentially have coming is the old school, the Lee School. That might be some apartments, more than like 3 stories. But majority of our residential communities is nothing more than 2 stories.
I know when we had County Commissioner Sabatini on, and we kind of talked about it, he said one of the interesting things, because he sees it the same way, it's more of a smart growth thing in quality and over quantity. But he said it was interesting. He said that one thing is he would like to see the county commission and the local city commissions get together on, discuss projects that kind of overlap with each other. What does that look like for y'all?
I think we have a pretty good arrangement. It's an ISBA, inter-service boundary agreement with the county. I think it's it'll be a little frustrating if the county starts stepping on the municipality's toes for every little thing. I think the county does a great job, and leave that to them and leave the municipalities to the municipalities. We have a great staff, a very smart staff, and we have to follow the same rules as the county. So
Yeah. Where does the overlap come in? I've always wondered that. So, like, I live in Fruitland Park, but I'm in the city, but I'm also in the county because I have to pay taxes to both.
you do.
That's another topic for another day. But just out of curiosity, like, what decides that? Like, what does the county do that maybe y'all don't, the city doesn't do, or does the city do something that the county doesn't do for the local?
So if you're within the city limits, you have city police, city fire, city utilities. So usually you have a faster response time for police, fire, things like that. And as you can see with like the hurricane, the city cleaned up a lot quicker than the county.
Okay, that explains it.
So we can take care of our residents a lot better than the county could. Having our own utility company is impressive. We can manage that a lot easier than versus Duke or Seco, where people might be out weeks and we can have you back on in days or hours. So
I do have to say thank you to the city of Leesburg. You did supply my power. And
team did a
I
phenomenal
did not
job.
lose it at all.
I lost it.
I didn't.
I only did
I was
it
out
at
for
the
2
very
days.
end for a little bit.
I didn't. I live in Fruitland Park, but we're city of Leesburg.
Everybody was like, "You're a commissioner. You should have power." And I'm like, "I'm no better than anybody else."
it doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work
It
like
has
that.
to do with the lines.
Yeah.
Ours are underground and in the neighborhood.
When I can speak on that, and when it comes to like natural disasters and events like that, I've made some suggestions that residents brought to me and brought to our city manager, and we're going to implement some things to make it a little more clear for our residents to understand the process of when we put those reports out that's hard to read. It makes it better and easier for them to understand of, hey, I know my power is going to be on because I know what grid I'm on. I know this, I know that.
It does make it. That is a big deal.
So, and what was one of the things I ran on is communication and transparency. I think you cannot over communicate and be you can't be too transparent with your residents.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that.
Thank you for joining us today, Alan. We appreciate it. I'm so glad that you're mayor here in Leesburg. I know I live in Fruitland Park, but Shayna and I are in Leesburg just about as much as we are in Fruitland Park.
I'm pretty sure we're in Leesburg. I'm in Leesburg more than I'm in
we're in
Fruitland
Leesburg
Park,
more. So
yeah.
we really appreciate you
we do.
coming
Thank you
for
today.
having me.
Thank you for joining us on the Style Podcast. We'll see you next time. I think that went great with Alan today.
It really did.
I have to say, maybe some of the stuff that we didn't put on the air, some of our conversation in between, because we all have some really good opinions about fluoride and all that we
do have good opinions about fluoride,
That we
and
need
we
to talk
actually
about.
have the same opinions as the Surgeon General for the state of Florida.
Yep, I agree.
That's a topic for another day that I'm sure my friends watching that don't agree with me will have comments about, but I don't care. I'm right, they're wrong.
That's all right. We are right about some stuff, but
That was a good conversation. You know what's so funny too is working downtown. We actually are downtown Leesburg more than we are at home.
right. We sleep at
We
home,
live,
but
eat,
we're
and
here
breathe here.
all the time.
All this is I didn't know about some of this. I knew about Susan Street, but I didn't know about some of the other stuff going on, like the marina, which
I'm
is a
excited
huge
about
deal.
that.
Yeah, me too.
I can put my little
Me
boat
too.
right in.
I know you are a good little boat.
I
driver,
love it.
too.
I love it.
I know. You still got to take me out on your boat. It's too cold right now, though.
It's too cold right now.
Yeah, I would freeze to death.
Yeah.
It would be very miserable. But it's in the spring.
In the spring, yes. I'll put it in over here and pick you up at Venetian Gardens. You have to cross Dixie to get.
Well, I will, just not in a golf cart.